Welcome to Blind Level Tech. This isn't just accessible tech talk. This is technology on a whole new level. We're showing you just how possible it is to live the life you want.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blind Level Tech. I am your host, Evan Starnes, and I sure hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode with Troy Attilio, the CEO of Aira. It was incredible having him on. He's just he's an awesome guy. He's very down to earth. Not what you would expect your stereotypical CEO to be like, but either way, it was amazing getting to talk to him. And, I personally did enjoy getting to hear a bit about Aira's future. And this week, I've got an even more exciting, this is not an opinion show, but to me, this guest is incredibly exciting. If you guys have somehow not heard of the Innosearch platform, he is actually one of their co-founders. He's got a background in both financial and entrepreneurship. I think I said that right, but quite a technical background as well. So Patrick Long, welcome to Blind Level Tech. It's good to have you here.
Hey, Evan. Hey, guys. Nice being here.
Yeah, of course. Well, besides founding Innosearch, I'd actually like to just immediately jump into your technical background. You did a lot with finance, and it was kind of inspired by your grandparents starting to lose their vision. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, I was always a social entrepreneur, always very curious about how to use cutting-edge technology to better the lives of many. My prior company, I used blockchain technology to help the 2 billion unbanked and underbanked save and lend. AI has been a very recent innovation. Well, it's been around for quite some time, but it's in this current GPT format that has been fairly new. And was always very curious about how, since AI can understand almost anything, use this to help those with blindness and low vision live more independent lives. So sort of out of chance, I met my co-founder, Brian, who is an AI PhD with the background at Google and Facebook. So he has very deep knowledge about the technology. And together with some of my own personal reasons, since my grandparents are slowly losing their vision, we were experimenting on new ways we can use the technology, right, to do some social good. So that's sort of in a nutshell how we got to where we are today. And very glad that we get to serve the community.
And Innosearch is a shopping platform that allows you to use, general questions and or your voice to do things like shopping or get flights. And there's actually a lot more that you've added to it. But generally speaking, though, there's the web content accessibility guidelines, WCAG and all that. But, in spite of the fact that those websites can be WCAG compatible, what makes them potentially difficult for some to use?
Yeah, I mean, I really like to say that WCAG compliance doesn't mean usability, right? So
Yes.
you can go through the entire checklist, make sure you're following the standards, but still due to complexity, right, and even other reasons, it's just not usable for somebody navigating using a screen reader, right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of companies often have advertisements, right? A lot of
Cookie
suggested
consents.
products. Yeah, exactly. And pop-ups, right? Sign up forms that just come up and it just throws off the screen reader, right? And that's exactly the problem that we're trying to address, right? How to create not just compliant, but also, and most importantly, in my personal opinion, usable, right? Because if it's not usable, then what's the whole point?
Right. And I'd also always like to say, a website can be accessible, but not intuitive. And it's that intuitive aspect that you guys have definitely created with Innosearch. And as far as Innosearch, how exactly does it work and how does it make online shopping and flight booking and stuff like that easier?
Yeah, so the best way to put it, simply is that we are an accessibility layer. So we are that layer that sits in between you as the end consumer and the business, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we create an experience that is very screen reader friendly. All the clutter, extraneous information is eliminated. So you can very quickly navigate our site, find exactly what you want with an AI assist as well, right? And recently we've
Mm-hmm.
added voice, we've added phone line. So there's many ways to interact with our catalog. And then very quickly, you can find what you need and place your order. And best of all, you never have to leave the experience. So it's all contained within Innosearch. And we do that by design, right? We don't want to refer you out to another page or
Oh,
send
for
you to
sure.
5 different checkouts, right? Because there's a lot of things that other designers have not considered, right? And it's that accessible experience that we're very much proud of. And we also have some human agents as well on the team. So we have 24-hour coverage and support. So people that, may have a question, need to find a return, right? They just can't find that support button. Our team of human agents can also assist. So we basically do all we can from an AI perspective, from a design perspective, and also from a human support perspective to make sure your internet needs are accessible and easy.
Right. And I think the fact that you can even just call over the like a landline telephone and do your online shopping is going to definitely be very beneficial for a lot of people out there. And you guys started originally with, I believe, Amazon and Walmart. But yeah, just really quickly, what are some of the retailers that you can shop through Innosearch?
There's a lot, really. To be honest,
Yes.
there's 500,000, and I wouldn't be able to name them all.
Right.
But basically, all your large, big box ones are there. Also, a lot of mom and pop, smaller ones are as well. We have domestic and international flights. So, all the big flight carriers are definitely on Innosearch. And recently we added food and grocery delivery as well. So we partnered with Grubhub for that. You can order food at your nearest grocery store or restaurant. So there's quite good coverage, absolutely. But I will admit we don't have every single store. So recently we have a new product. We call it the accessible storefront. So now anyone, any business, any individual, any entrepreneur can sell their products on Innosearch, right? And best of all, the setup process is very accessible, very easy. We've onboarded, I think, close to 30 or so partners now. So yeah, it's just a new way, right, to get access to a storefront.
Of course. And I think the cool thing about Innosearch too, and the AI aspect about it is, yes, being able to shop for products. And I'm gonna be honest, I actually didn't know you guys had agents on there because the thing I'd really liked about Innosearch is that I could shop for something like, I'm gonna be actually looking for some portable washer and dryers. And the thing I like though is that you could ask it about the images in those whatever product you were looking at, you could ask it like, can you describe the control panel or summarize like the best reviews? And yeah, just having that chat GPT large language model integration has made it very, very useful for, because previously if you wanted to shop on Amazon, you maybe could grab a screenshot of a product image and throw it into Be My Eyes or something. But, it was a lot more challenging. And it sounds like, too, you guys have actually partnered with Be My Eyes recently, too.
Yeah, I mean, we're a partner with Be My Eyes, so you can access all of InnoSearch's services, all the things I described earlier, like e-commerce shopping, flight booking, and also the food and grocery delivery, all directly through the Be My Eyes app. It's just a
Nice.
link I believe it's on a few pages, but on the Call My Volunteer page, it's a few tabs over. So it's very convenient, easy to use. We also recently launched our own iOS and Android apps. So if you want that native, you know,
Innosearch experience right there.
search, yeah, exactly. You can just grab it from one of the stores. Completely free.
That's awesome. And that actually totally answered my next question. I was going to say, because you guys were on Innosearch, you still are, Innosearch.ai. And now that you guys have an iOS app, it'll be a lot easier to be able to basically have that Innosearch experience on your iOS, iPhone, iPad, whatever it might be. So that's great to hear. And I will definitely be checking it out and possibly reviewing it for BLT. So, but there's one other aspect, or I guess product, that you guys have pretty recently created. And if you want to see an example of this product, actually one of the first sites that I've seen that has integrated it is the Eyes on Success website, eyesonsuccess.net. But it effectively allows you to browse completely around a website using either, a chat system or your voice.
Yeah, that's something that we've worked with Pete and Nancy on very
Yes.
closely. They're the hosts of Eyes on Success, a wonderful podcast, by the way. They've been around, oh man, I
Like
think,
15 years almost.
yeah, remarkable work they're doing, and I just love the consistency and passion behind it. It's wonderful. So we're very happy to have worked with them to make co-browse integration onto their site. So basically, now you can browse their site using any screen reader, obviously, but now you also have the co-browse AI assistant, right? So again, you can type to it and it can respond. It can figure out, what's going on the podcast, give me a summary. You can also talk with it, so it can engage with a conversation about any of the topics on Pete and Nancy's podcasts. You can ask it to find a show for you, right? It's just a new way to interact, right? And again, we're at Innosearch very much focused on usability, right? I think that's our claim to fame, right? Making things not just more compliant, but also usable.
More
right?
usable, yes.
So we hope, co-browse can really assist all the listeners of Eyes on Success to more easily access all the great information they've compiled together over the years.
Absolutely. Yeah, being able to ask it, like, find an episode about beat baseball or any of those things, and it has the ability to search the entire website. And it would be really cool to see this co-browse feature expand to other websites. About how many websites currently have co-browse integration, would you say?
Yeah, so to be honest, we rolled this out pretty recently, probably in the last month or so. And
Right.
we got this actually because there's been a lot of people just messaging us and pestering us about it. And we looked as a team on how to scale it up, right? Because ultimately we want to deliver more usable experiences for all, right? Whether it's our site or other sites, we want to provide equal access, right, to the best of our ability. So, we got a lot of people reaching out, and so far, just in the past month or so, we have about 30 deployments across various areas on the internet, some nonprofits, some for business sites, some e-commerce sites. So quite a few clients now, and we're obviously looking to grow. So if something like that, voice AI, voice commands to increase the usability of your site sounds interesting, I mean, we'd love to chat and see how we can bring co-browse to your site.
Hey, I think we might actually look into integrating co-browse into the Aftersight website. I think it would really benefit our listener base substantially. So, hey, we might be looking into that. And if it becomes a thing, the audience of BLT, will definitely know about it. And real quick, before we wrap things up here, what would you say is kind of on the roadmap for Innosearch? Like, what do you hope to do next?
So today, actually, we released a new feature to enable our accessible storefront users an ability to cross-post across more shopping platforms like, eBay, Amazon. We're investigating as many sites as possible, basically getting them additional exposure for their products. That's one. Two is the phone line. So any storefront on Innosearch can also have a phone line integration. So they can now have a toll-free number they can dial and get access to your catalog, your items. It can do the payments. It can do the shipping. So that's something we're very excited by, because I know there's a number of clients we have that spend a lot of time picking up the phone, taking orders, especially for blind and low vision. around Christmas time, right? And there's just too many phone calls. They just can't handle it. And if we could bring AI into the mix to save some time, I think that could be a massive game changer. So those are two things recently we released, probably in the past week or so. But some things on the horizon. I mean, we think a lot can be done in the form of usability and really personalized experiences, right? Because I believe, the web was built for a very unique person, right? Somebody with, first of all, great eyesight, because you have to find items that are like few pixels wide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great hand-eye coordination, because you got to use the mouse and click these buttons everywhere. And also somebody that's very tech savvy, right? Because the internet's always creating new interfaces and you have to relearn it each and every time, right? Recently, my iPhone updated to iOS 26 and now it's,
liquid glass.
it's completely different, right? And it sort of
Yeah.
throws me off too. So, but that's not the everyday person, right? That's a very unique small group of people that is, vision's really sharp, really good motor skills, and also very technically savvy, right? That's not a lot of people. And at Innosearch, we really want to build personalized experiences that meet the needs of human diversity, right? People that are blind or low vision, or seniors, or people that are motor impaired, right? They need to use the internet too, right? Because, I mean, the world's becoming more digital, not less.
Oh, yeah. No, built on the internet practically.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm. Well, how can people get started with Innosearch both on the web and over the phone?
Yeah, so you can access all of our services, obviously, at our website, Innosearch, INNO, search, SEARCH.ai, or you can dial our toll-free number, and that's 1-855-746-7478, and that translates to 1-855 shop GPT. I mean, I saw that number pop up for sale and I was like, oh, that's perfect. We got to grab that one.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah. And we also have a 24/7 support line. You can email us at support, SUPPORT, at innosearch.ai. And we have a team that, monitors that email 24/7, 7 days a week. Right. So if you have any questions, comments, and you need help, you need to return an item, that's the team for you to assist with anything.
Very good. And also grab the iOS app if you haven't already, if you have an iPhone or Apple device.
Absolutely.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much. I know this episode went by pretty quickly, but thank you so much for jumping on and for, all of this wonderful information. I'm really excited to continue to follow the development of Innosearch. And I think, like I've said on previous episodes, the concept of AI and large language models is really going to help break down a lot of the barriers that have been around and in place for decades at this point for the blind, low vision, but just anybody that needs accessibility or more usability. So yeah, thank you so much for your time today. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Evan, and all you guys at Aftersight to give us this opportunity and forum to share. I mean, without people like you, the community behind us, absolutely, we would never be able to develop the product that we have. The feedback you guys have given, we definitely didn't build it perfect on day one, and it still very much is not perfect. But through feedback from the community involvement, we're very thankful for that.
And feedback is key, and feedback is how we improve. So with that being said, if you listeners have any feedback on this podcast, or hey, any of our other Aftersight podcasts or audio editions, or just anything Aftersight related, we love to hear it. You can always send your feedback to feedback@aftersight.org, or there's always a voicemail hotline that you can call 720-712-8856, and we are definitely listening to your voicemails. And of course, if you'd like your voicemail to be played on podcast, just let us know and we'll definitely do that for you. And with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to another episode of Blind Level Tech. I've been your host, Evan Starnes, and I'll see you guys again next Wednesday.